Product recalls can have a devastating impact on any manufacturer's bottom line. In Canada, we experience about 200 food recalls each year. Approximately 60% of these are due to undeclared allergens or gluten. In the most serious cases, people with the gluten intolerance can become very sick, and those with allergic reactions could even die. The 10 most common allergens are peanuts, eggs, milk, wheat, soy, sesame, seafood, sulfites, tree nuts, and mustard. Manufacturers don't want to harm anyone, and they certainly don't want to lose their good reputations nor their businesses over something preventable. So how do allergen-related food recalls happen? There are a lot of causes. We'll discuss the most common ones. Cross-contamination occurs when food that contains an allergen or gluten comes into contact with food that is allergen or gluten-free. Maybe this happened when Frank's employees didn't clean thoroughly at a changeover between 2 production runs. The first run contained an allergen that wasn't in the second run. When Bob has an issue with a batch, he can often salvage it by mixing it with another batch. Although this is economical, it can accidentally introduce an allergen. For example, say Bob was making a batch of dairy-free almond gelato and it didn't freeze properly. Bob doesn't want to waste that batch, so he blends it with chocolate gelato and refreezes it. Everything looks fine. The chocolate masks the taste of the almond. But by doing this, Bob introduces almonds into what was supposed to be nut-free chocolate gelato. If the product goes to market without the almonds declared in the ingredient list, it will trigger a recall. This undeclared almond recall would grow to include all products that use the almond reworked into chocolate. Without proper procedures and training, manufacturers may use the wrong ingredients. For instance, Bob's chocolate supplier may have mistakenly shipped him cocoa with milk rather than without milk. Since Bob has procedures in place, he can contact his supplier and ask questions before a huge mistake is made. If a procedure to check all ingredient labels hadn't been followed, Bob's dairy-free gelato could have had traces of undeclared milk. Manufacturers must understand exactly what each of their ingredients contains, and in some cases, the process used to grow or produce that ingredient. As well, sometimes suppliers use uncommon ingredient names for allergens, which can confuse the person reading the label. For example, one supplier used the word casein instead of milk on his label. Lily, an untrained employee, didn't realize casein is a milk protein, which led her to add an allergen to the product by mistake. Packaging and labels must accurately represent all of the ingredients contained in that product. If a manufacturer uses the wrong package or the wrong label, allergens present in the product will not be properly declared. Employees must follow all of the processes that control allergens prior to packaging to ensure the label is accurate, and then make a final check to be sure the correct product is in the correct package. Any one of these scenarios would lead to a recall that could quickly balloon into a much larger issue. Consequences could include severe illness and death in susceptible consumers, destruction or replacement of product, loss of consumer and customer trust, drastic drop of sales, increased insurance rates, and loss of jobs. No company or individual wants to risk all of that. That's why all food manufacturers need to be diligent when establishing critical procedures to control allergens and provide all employees, from those who buy the ingredients and communicate with suppliers to those who ship the final product, with allergen and gluten awareness training. A commitment needs to be made by management to create a culture for allergen and gluten control throughout the organization. We can help prevent an undeclared allergen recall. Visit Alberta Agriculture's Food and Health webpage to learn how to create an allergen program for your business.